Oh, you've been playing the long game this whole time.
To get you to join Starfleet.
To see me in this outfit.
You will be in your own clothes and on your own ship and petting your fat cat in no time.
How many times have I told you?
She's a queen.
Are you funny?
I am.
Yeah.
After you, Lieutenant Booker.
All right, Commander Burnham. I'll go blend in.
Set a course for love.
Ah, yes. One of your Earth emotions.
Glad I found you.
Let's get married.
Delete the wife.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Deep Space Love, the Star Trek podcast, where a married Trekkie couple explore love in all its forms throughout the final frontier. I'm Nicole, one of your hosts.
Hello, and I'm Joe, one of the other hosts.
How are you doing, Joe?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for engaging in the opening banter.
Yes, I forgot that last time, and you were sorely disappointed in me.
Famously skipped it.
My bad. I guess it was an off day. But today, we actually have a special guest joining us today. Joe, did you know?
Yay! I love it.
Do you know who it is?
I do, but I'll let you introduce.
Today, we're joined by Reina from the Black Alert podcast, for those who have listened to that lovely installment.
Welcome, Reina.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
We're good.
Thank you for
We're good.
having
How are
me.
you?
Thanks for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me, and I'll be glad to talk about and nerd out on some Trek today with you two, and definitely talk about some power couples in our universe.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
For anyone listening who hasn't listened to the Black Alert podcast, highly recommend it. It's a super fun show. You guys, I think you started out as like doing Discovery recaps, but then you kind of did like longer concept episodes, which I really enjoyed, like your exploration into the captains, and I've been enjoying your Lower Decks recaps too. So it's a super fun show. Highly recommended for anyone who hasn't checked it out.
Yes. Yeah. We, a little ragtag crew, came together and decided, you know what, let's talk about Star Trek, the thing we love most. And, we come from all parts of the country. And like you said, Joe, we started out with Discovery. We came in a little late, but, we like to discuss some things that other podcasts don't, which is good. There needs to be some diversity in our conversations. And, we did some Lower Decks. Now we're doing some Prodigy. So that'll be coming out soon. And then, of course, we've got a whole bunch of our lineup of shows coming out. We've got Discovery coming out November 18th, which...
So excited.
Yes, very excited. So you definitely get a weekly discussion board with us coming up soon.
Exciting. What a great time to be a Trek fan, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. What do we have, like 5 shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 5 shows right now, yeah.
We're still going through, we're almost done with kind of watching all of the previous series, but we still have a couple couple seasons of Voyager we're finishing up. And now it's just, one after the other. Prodigy's just started, Disco's about to start up again, and Strange New Worlds is coming up, and Picard season 2, and it's just excellent.
Doesn't get old.
No, not at all. And, of course, all the merchandise out of it, I'm going to go broke.
Yeah. All the t-shirts we need to buy.
The Lower Decks shirts,
Doritos, and I need it all.
Did you get the Doritos shirt?
It's on its way. Yeah, I had. Cool. They didn't have the extra large for a while, so I had to wait a little bit. So I'm excited. I'm waiting for it to get in the mail.
Awesome. Well, yeah, definitely. I'm excited for what you guys put out next too. I'm excited for the Prodigy recaps.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate you tuning in, and you and Nicole do an awesome job on Deep Space Love, and I'm very excited to discuss, to join along today.
Yeah, we're excited for the conversation ahead. Before we get started with that conversation, I'm sure Joe mentioned to you that we've got a couple questions that we just like to have guests answer before when we have a guest on for the first time. So the first one is either a really easy question or a really hard question. Why do you love Star Trek?
Wow. Why do I love Star Trek? First and foremost, I wouldn't be a Star Trek fan without my dad. He passed away about 9 years ago, but he was a true Trekkie fan. He started watching Trek around the time he was in Vietnam. He was in the Marines from 66 to 68, and I got a lot of my nerdiness from him. So between cartoons, Star Trek, comic books, it all came from him. So I wouldn't love Star Trek if it wasn't for this man. I love Star Trek because I believe in compassion and kindness. I believe that as a whole, we should come together to make ourselves better. Not regressing towards, the the dark ages, but going forward positively, regardless of where we come from and what we believe, that we come together to make a better future.
Beautiful. Second.
Favorite show? Oh, yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was saying I second that. I was hoping Joe was going to come in with the I third that, and we
I
missed.
I thirded. Yeah, I was.
No.
It was almost there.
Yeah.
I tried to look at you. Okay. Anyway, we'll move on to the second question then. Your favorite or your home base crew or show? I mean, however you kind of want to view it. I feel like sometimes it's like your favorite crew, or sometimes it's just the show,
and it can always be different too. But what's that right now for you?
Right now.
Right now, my favorite. Okay, so favorite show would definitely be DS9. Only because I just rewatched it again and realized how much I really enjoyed not necessarily exploring, but being around, they're on this space station. They've got to deal with each other on a daily basis. And also they have this conflict that they have to deal with the Cardassians. It's something, it's really political, unfortunately, but it's something that is a part of our lives that we have to deal with. And it's great to see how the characters interact with, what their scenarios. Favorite crew, however, right now would be Discovery. They just, they're my babies. I love them so much. I can talk about them forever. Yeah, that's it. So DS9, Discovery. Obviously, we've got new crews coming. The cute little Prodigy crew on Nickelodeon is really adorable. I know everybody's Team Murph, but I'm Team Rock Talk.
Oh, I love her.
Agreed.
I think she is absolutely adorable. And I'm waiting for her to put Dal in his place.
Yes. No, agreed. Yeah, I'm ready for it to come. So
yeah, he needs he needs to be whipped into shape.
Indeed. And that would be great if it came from Rock Talk.
I agree.
I love how you had a different, kind of crew versus show, and kind of like two different answers there, because it's always kind of hard to pick like one. So you're like, yeah, I'm going to pick a crew and a show. So I love that. Let's see. Okay. Finally, which Star Trek character would you like to go on some sort of date with? It can be romantic if that's the interest, or platonic, like just a coffee date.
One character or can it be multiple?
We won't cut you off. So,
all right. So the first character would definitely be Kira Nerys.
Oh, yes.
I feel like she's a rebel. I'm a rebel. She's very headstrong, yet very passionate about what she cares about. And she'll stick by you. I love that. I feel like we would have a good time with some ale and just kick back. A romantic date, I would probably go with Dr. Culber and Jadzia Dax.
Yeah.
Good choices.
Only because Wilson Cruz is absolutely beautiful, and so is Terry Farrell. But I mean, it would just be lovely.
Yeah, or separately, or like as a
three-way
date. Yeah,
three-way date. Absolutely.
Super. Just wanted to clarify because.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I get
awesome.
It.
God, I imagine it'd be such a fun conversation too.
Yeah, right? Imagine. Well, thank you for answering those questions. I loved those answers. It was excellent. Fortunately, we get to dig into the Discovery crew, especially a couple of our favorites, Book and Burnham.
Yeah, we're doing disco.
Yay!
Yeah, it's also our first disco episode. So
It is. Yeah, I've been really excited to want to dig into Discovery because like we have most of our previous episodes on Deep Space Love have been more like single or just like 2 episodes from like the older shows. And I guess we have done a lower decks, but I've been really excited to try to do Discovery in some capacity. And this one is kind of an arc that really took much of the season. Nicole and I rewatched a few specific episodes, which we'll get into, but it's really like a season-long arc with these two. So Michael Burnham and Cleveland Booker. And so I kind of want to ask both of you before we get into the romance, though, what did you guys think of season 3 of Discovery overall? I know, Reina, you said you're really digging the crew. So why don't you start? What do you think of season 3?
Wow. Season 3 is definitely action-packed, very emotional. I'm a softie for the drama. I know there are fans who do not like it, but I am very for the interaction between humans, species, not just humans, but species in general. The ability to care and be compassionate towards one another. And also you can be upset with someone. There's a lot of grudges going on the ship. There's a lot going on. And we're also dealing with outside factors, with outside hostility. And it's good to see the crew come together and stick up for one another and make sure that, we get out of whatever situation safely. Season 3 is definitely a turn in the right direction, because 2 was a little, I would say, it did a little dip, which most shows do. They do, okay. And then they pick it up. But I think we're definitely looking forward to what season 4 brings.
How about you, Nicole? What do you think?
Yeah, again, I would second a lot of what you just said, Reina, and I agree, especially even though we only watched a select few episodes, filling in the blanks in between episodes and remembering like, okay, because I mean, even though we're going to focus on Book and Burnham, there were definitely some big things that come up in these episodes with a lot of the other crew members and the overall plot regarding the burn and the state of the Federation. And I really feel like I agree that season 3, like Discovery found, I know it's finally kind of free from being boxed within canon in the past and trying to work within that framework. I mean, it was really cool, but I think it also it made for some clunkiness here and there. And I feel like now that Discovery was like just left like the past behind and is now 930 some years in the future, it was just like balls to the wall, just like everything was just like brand new and like they could just really break free, I guess, in a way, in a lot of ways. So I think that rewatching even just some of the episodes really highlighted for me how great Discovery season 3 was. Like it's like, especially among like the new shows kind of since Discovery first premiered, I feel like it's like the best season of New Trek so far, personally. I mean, I really love all of what's out there, but I really feel like this is kind of, I got a bit of everything and it's just amazing. So I really, really enjoyed season 3. How about you, Joe?
Oh, agreed. So listeners to our show would probably know that I write for Twin Cities Geek, and I actually got to write our site's review of Discovery season 3, and it was just glowing because I loved it so much. I agree that I feel like there was some rockiness for the first 2 seasons, but I think that this really feels like it's found its footing and it's like its sort of purpose, and it's free from its constraints of being a prequel, and it's just been able to do so much more fun stuff. Like I like how weird it gets. I like the new aliens and the way the way the aliens look. I like one of the ones we just watched had those sea locusts, and like that small little idea is just really cool, and the way it was brought to life on screen is really cool. So like the show looks so beautiful, but it's also just so well acted. The characters are so strong and so well written and drawn out. The relationships are really powerful. I think the themes are really coming out strong, especially season 3 thematically felt really strong with like all of its kind of plot threads tying into sort of like recovering from like a collective trauma of like something like the burn, or like jumping forward like almost 900 years in the future and how that affects people. And so seeing that those like kind kind of reactions and interactions happening with the different characters was phenomenal. And I think all the new cast members in this season were great. Even the smaller roles were super well casted and memorable. So it was just a lot of fun. I mean, we rewatched, I think, 4 episodes for this podcast specifically, but I want to go back and rewatch more of them now because it's so good.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
Speaking to the dramatic elements that you mentioned, Reina, I agree. I feel like every episode where Anthony Rapp was playing Space Dad, I was just
Oh
like,
my
I just want to
gosh.
cry every time, like every
I
scene.
can't. I cannot with Anthony Rapp. He
I
just
know.
makes me want to sob every 5 minutes. If you don't know Anthony Rapp, guests and audience, he played on Rent, and I never forget. True story. Friend of mine, and I think it was in high school. It had to be over freshman year of college. We went to go see Rent, and of course, everyone knows Angel dies at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend Kevin, my bestie, my best friend / brother, sobbed the entire ride home on the train in New York. Now, most people in New York City, they're minding their own business on the train. But everybody was just staring at him, and he's sobbing away. And I'm just like, he's fine. Don't worry about it. He's fine. But the performances that Anthony Rapp and as well as his other cast members on Discovery just not only tug at the heartstrings, but make you really think about how we navigate through trauma and through our emotions. And I love that because I'm an emotional person. I wouldn't say overly emotional, but I do connect to people and situations probably more than most. I'm definitely a book. I'm an empath. So, or I don't know if a lot of people believe in that, but definitely I suck in a lot of that energy. And, sometimes you got to release it. And sometimes Discovery is the time to release it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well said. I think I wanted like the empath powers that Book and his people have in Quajon. I really like that. I felt like when we first see it in that first episode of season 3, like he kind of uses it to pull up that plant to help heal Michael.
Yeah, I love
and then
that.
he also like talks to this transworm later on, but it's like, it really reminds me, I don't know if you do, Reina, but Nicole and I play Dungeons and Dragons. And it reminds me of like a druid character, because I play a druid character in D&D, and it's like, so he's like he's a space druid. He has like the talks with plants ability. He has the talks with animals ability that I use sometimes on my character. And so I really enjoyed that. And actually, I don't know if anyone else did, but I was really, really proud. And spoilers, if people haven't seen the series, hopefully you've seen it if you're listening to this, but I was really proud that I kind of was like thinking, I was like, I bet he could do the spore drive. And then he turned out to be able to do it. I thought that was a fun twist.
Oh yeah.
With his connection to nature.
Exactly. And I love it. I love him. And I love what he stands for. The connectedness to nature, to the elements, to kind of like an avatar, Avatar: The Last Airbender kind of.
Yeah.
But you really got to have a solid base to be able to connect with the world around you. And not to be easily influenced by the things around you, so that you can take everything in and make a solid choice and decision about where you're going forward. And that's why I truly like the introduction of Cleveland Booker and his people.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. It's interesting though to see where Book and Burnham start out. Though that first episode is a pretty wild first date.
It was a little rocky. That was a rough first date.
Yeah,
I remember when we watched the premiere when it first aired back then, Nicole, and I feel like you were frustrated with Book at first, weren't you?
I was. I guess I didn't know where it was going. This time around, when we watched that episode, I knew where it was going, so I was.
And knowing who his character becomes.
Yeah. I mean, and also knowing his experiences in past, like the way that he, dealt with that first episode, and upon meeting Michael at first, like it put it into context more. So yeah, without the context, it's just like, who's this dude? Because I'm like, you care so much about like Michael, and you're just like, why can't he just like, the betrayal when they get to the exchange,
the mercantile
exchange. Yeah. And I was just like so hurt for her.
How
in
could
that
you
moment.
do this to her?
Yeah, hand her over, and but yeah, it all it makes sort of the transformation and arc of their relationship even more rewarding.
Oh, even that episode when you see him like with the transform and you realize that he's actually a big softie.
Oh yeah, I know. I
totally.
suddenly had to be like, oh,
Yeah. Come on, he's a cat dad.
He is grudge, yeah.
And I'm a cat mom, so I relate. It was like, you got to be a special person to have cats. You've got to understand, one, you're not in control. But that most cats, not all, because some are very friendly. Mine, she's friendly. However, she will tell you when she needs her space. So, like Book, he had to put a fence up. He's guarding himself. He's in a new situation. And as I mentioned, he's an empath. So you've got to kind of brace yourself for what you're about to get into. And once you feel that other person out or the situation out, you slowly let them in. So I like that about him.
Yeah, and it's also a great reminder that just because someone is empathic doesn't mean that they immediately have to or should be expected to respond to people.
Hug.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't have to be a sponge all the time, and like you also have to know how to interpret and respect your own feelings, which
boundaries, people, boundaries.
Yeah. So you can kind of see, and also, I mean, like he had no idea where she, like by the end of the episode, I like how there was no big like, oh, you're from the past. Like he sort of just had this like, yeah. She's like, I'm from. No, she tells him, but he isn't surprised. He's kind of like, makes everything make sense.
Yeah, you're not from around the block.
Yeah. What's the burn?
You're not from here. Oh, okay, let me explain that to you now. Got it.
So in prep for this podcast episode, Nicole and I, we rewatched that that premiere episode, The Hope Is With You, or The Hope Is You Part 1. We watched episode 3, People of Earth, episode, I think it was it 6? That's Scavengers, the one where they rescue him.
Scavengers.
And then the episode The Sanctuary, where they go to Book's home planet of Quajon too. So those are the ones we rewatched for this. So they're all pretty fresh in our memory. Reina, did you do any rewatching, or were you just kind of going off of memory?
But I coming off of memory, but yes, I did rewatch. Definitely Scavengers is my favorite because it has my favorite line in it.
What's the line?
We always find each other.
Glad I found you.
We always find each other.
Oh.
Book. Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Tears.
I loved in that episode too when she says, "You sent a passive aggressive hollow."
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah.
I sent a passive hollow.
Yeah.
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 Good
that's
episodes.
A good one. Scavengers is really cool. I feel like I remember when that one dropped, I had saw like a little bit of like mixed reactions and some like reviews on Twitter, but I really love that episode for a lot of reasons now, and rewatching it, it's great. It's also the introduction of Rin, who was really cool character. But it reminds me so much of that Deep Space Nine episode. I forget which episode, but it's the one where they go, like Kira and O'Brien go on that mission to rescue, where they have to kind of pose as Rogue to go rescue some of the Bajoran prisoners on one of the Cardassian like mining prison planets. You guys remember that one?
Vaguely.
Vaguely, but I can refresh my memory.
Yeah, but like it was. I feel like when this had aired, I don't remember why I was thinking about that episode. But it's like, oh, it just brings me back to that episode, which I remember thinking was a really cool one. Oh, I think I just rewatched it with a friend. That's why. It's an early. I think it might be in season 1 or 2.
Okay.
It was the guy who was like the Bajoran like kind of like hero, but he ended up not actually being a hero.
Oh,
yeah,
that one.
That guy.
That guy.
They went to rescue him, and like Kira had to kind of go off book to go do it. But that was so I don't know.
Kira has to go and do stuff.
So it just like it felt like a sort of, I guess, quote unquote classic Trek plot. This one did, even with the whole like Michael Burnham having to do it off the record sort of thing, and kind of going around the chain of command. And I know that sometimes frustrates people, but it's happened so much in Star Trek, you know?
Yeah. Now that you're like kind of describing it, and like I actually, and because we kind of mentioned Kira in the beginning with Reina's answers, but I'm seeing or feeling a lot of similarities between Kira and Michael now that we're talking about it. Like just their, sort of like I'm going to do what I need to do regardless of what protocol dictates or whatever, like sort of like this like true to like your beliefs in a way, and what you feel is some right, I guess. And even if that means, going against the rules, or even like sort of testing the trust of your superiors and your friends. So yeah, it's cool, and like very passionate, like you mentioned in your answer, Reina. Michael definitely is an incredibly, despite the first like season where she's raised on Vulcan and sort of the Vulcan-esque personality she puts forth. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Cut you off. She is one to trust her gut and trust her heart. Also, she's highly intelligent. She's not going to do something that she didn't, think about. It may not be something that, her superiors want her to do, or not by the rule book, but sometimes those rule books, they don't necessarily cover certain situations. You have to be able to make these split second decisions. And I always compare Michael to Kira in my head. Oh, obviously I don't really talk about it, but I usually compare them because of their passion for life. And they are emotionally turbulent people. But they overall want everyone to feel this connectedness. And they always bring out the heart-wrenching performances, which I enjoy. But season 3 of Disco is a lot. It's a roller coaster.
It really is. Yeah. I love how, so in the four episodes that we rewatched, this just kind of came to me because we just, right before this, we finished watching, what was the name of the episode? The one where they go to Book's planet.
The Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. Thank you. And I love how in the 2 episodes ago, or not 2 episodes ago, but the second episode we watched was the Discovery crew coming back to Earth. So I love how they each, between Michael and Book, sort of introduced each other to their home planets, and their family in a way. It was just such a like meet the parents in a way, or meet my hometown. Meet the
fam.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Kind of dynamic between the two in their arc towards their romance. So
yeah, it's kind of fun. Like we get this, like the way that they show the relationship evolve over the season. Like we get this sort of I don't know what you could say, maybe like the meet cute in the beginning. Mm-hmm. Then we get like, meeting the Discovery crew, and it's kind of a little bit awkward. Like there's that meeting with Giorgio right there. That's pretty fun. Oh my
gosh. Yeah. It's like playing like this like weird aggressive mom.
Aggressive mom is a great way to put it.
There's a reason we're having this conversation.
I like to see who's come aboard my ship after gallivanting through space with Michael.
Gallivanting? If only I'd known. Where is she?
Your girlfriend?
She's not my girlfriend. No, really. She's not. We didn't have... Nope. We're not talking about this.
But then like they kind of separate for a bit, and then they have to be reunited and like reaffirm their love, and in the Scavengers episode. And then, then she meets his family. And then after that, it's kind of like Book trying to be like, this is where I feel like I belong. I need to gel with this crew a little bit. I've solidified a bit who I am and my relationship to my family. And it's kind of a cool narrative arc for the two characters, both together as they're intertwined, but also like individually too. I don't know. It's really well done. I mean, like
they both kind of have to refine their family also in a way. Like Burnham's waiting for Discovery to show up, and she doesn't know if she'll ever see them again. And then of course Book's relationship with his brother and the people of his planet.
Absolutely. And I love that, Discovery is all about finding yourself, but also finding your people. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, blood related. But, your friends and the people along the way that you find who not only support you, but also can tell you about yourself. The ones that will say no. You don't need a whole bunch of yes people around you. You need people to, push up against you. And I like that they've found each other. I love that Book is actually making an effort to become part of Discovery. And it really shows his ability to navigate in this situation. He's had to, he mercantile trader. I call him a swashbuckler because he does a lot. But he's able to adapt, and you have to. That's what the world is, or at least being out in space. You have to adapt to your environment, to your surroundings.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I also, you reminded me, Reina, by saying just the fact that you're glad that they found each other. There's, in our intro music or whatever, there's a scene a line I have from Michael Burnham where she says, "Glad I found you," which was at the end of Scavengers. But I noticed, having just watched the Sanctuary episode this morning, Book was looking for Michael to tell him about his planet, and he says, "Glad I found you." And so, like, seeing that just back to back, like, I was like, oh, they both said the thing.
Yep. That's their line. I love it.
Yeah, it's super cute. I love it. I also
ship them.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I ship them. That's
yes,
very much.
I wanted to say I did look it up. The DS9 episode I was referring to was Homecoming from season 2. As part of that circle,
okay.
the 3-parter, the circle 3-parter.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you guys have any favorite, like, Michael Book moments from the season? I will say that one thing I feel like I didn't love it the first time through was in People of Earth, when they kind of like kept referencing like all their adventures. But the second time through, for some reason, it worked so much more for me, where they're just like, remember that one time we did this thing, or that other thing happened. And it's just like, at first I was like, oh, it's like too cute. Like they're trying to sell it hard. But like now, having seen the relationship develop, like I was like, oh, it just really is cute for me. Like I enjoyed it. And at the time it felt like they were really like giving fodder to like, a novel writer being like, here's adventures you can write in a novel. And as we know now, there's I think Una McCormick wrote a book based in that year. And so I really want to read that. So,
oh yeah, I definitely want to read that. But
I thought that was kind of I thought People of Earth is one of my favorite like episodes this season, I think, and maybe of Discovery in general. And I feel like there are kind of moments where, where it's like you're totally into each other, but they're not really letting themselves admit it yet. And so I feel like that episode was really fun to watch, as how their relationship kind of grows there. And actually, on a side note from that, like I just rewatched the motion picture, like the Star Trek the motion picture last night. And I feel like there's so many parallels between Michael Burnham and Spock in that movie, where he like, he wants to do his thing with V'ger. So he like goes, sneaks off the ship and like does his own mission that ultimately ends up helping them in the long run. And she kind of does the same thing in People of Earth, where she sneaks off the ship and takes Book's ship to go like help save the day. And so it's kind of fun to see these parallels, like in these like echoes of different Star Trek pop up in Discovery. It really shows how I feel like the writers are really in tune to Star Trek.
Of course.
Yeah, of course they are. But it's just fun to see like the parallels pop up.
It's funny when you notice. Yeah.
It's fun when I notice. Yeah. But what about you guys? What moments did you like?
Let's see. Well, I think the reason why I enjoy their relationship, I think one, because it started out as a friendship. I think when you fall in love with your best friend, I think that's probably like the best thing in the world, someone who can relate to you, like I said, tell you how, tell it like it is. But also because Michael was coming off of the disastrous romance with Ash. And she was heartbroken. You could definitely, they both were, but I wanted something fresh and new for her. And lo and behold, Book is that rebound. Well, I wouldn't call him a rebound. How dare I do that to him? But he's a fresh start.
Follow up. Yeah.
Especially now that she's in a totally different, centuries from, where she started. She's in an unknown place. She's on this ship with him, and they're together. It was a whole year, right? I believe they were a year together.
Yeah.
Right. And, I love that it matured over time. They look like a bang up couple. They had like matching outfits. It was really cool when they were like going out, and they would show like those snippets of them, going on little missions and stuff like that. But it's very charming, very sweet. Obviously there's drama there, but there is a sincere connection between them. I think they respect each other very much. He, like mentioned before, they become friends long before there's anything romantic. Them learning about each other, becoming each other's teacher and confidant. You definitely want to be able to have someone to talk to. Also, as a woman of color who has very thick hair and braids is part of the routine. Him taking out her braids was probably the most iconic thing for me on the show. That's just that sincerity there, that love, that attention that it requires. It's definitely something that I truly enjoy, and the writers, they got it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I agreed.
I guess you asked about specific scene. I think it is very, going back to that episode, People of Earth, where she decides that her and Book are going to go into his ship and sort of kind of save the day. And I just love how there's not even like a guess as to whether they're going to like succeed. Like they never really seem that concerned. She's just like, let's go pull one of our tricks. And they seem to have like no like tension, like when they're on his ship, like doing what they're doing, whereas everyone on Discovery is like really pent up and like there's like all this pressure happening on Discovery, but then like the two of them on Book's ship just like doing what they're gonna do, and referencing casually their adventures in the past year while they're doing it is just it's a lot of fun. And you can see like the sort of the flirtation there and also the ease and comfort that they have with each other. So I think that's probably maybe one of my favorite moments. Now that we're talking about it, you two talking kind of made me think of one reason the relationship for me, I think, is so lovely is like in the year where she didn't have Discovery, and like I think what like Burnham is learning about herself through her relationship with Book was sort of understanding herself outside of the, I don't want to say rigidity, but sort of like just that like regiment of Starfleet structure. Thank you. Yeah. And that's very obvious, like in the first few episodes, once she's reunited with the crew and she kind of has to she struggles all season long really with kind of like coming back into her place on the ship. But also like, he's been solo for so long, and you know this because what is it, 15 years he says since he'd been to his planet or seen his brother. And so that's a long time too to kind of be solo. You can tell it's him and Grudge. So yes, I guess Grudge is there, but it's a little different. So he kind of, you see him learning through her how to be part of like a larger team or family and having a larger, he has like purpose, right? But like, I sort of feel like letting people in and being a part of like a team and a family is something that she sort of brings to him, and then he sort of brings her like personality and individuality out during their year together when she's not a part of Starfleet and can kind of go rogue like that. So I don't know. I think that's really beautiful. The way that like, I don't know. It's like the way that they have what each other need. That's what I mean to say.
Great points.
Thank you.
I couldn't follow it up. It was good stuff.
Good.
Yeah. You guys both have great points. Reina, I wanted to ask you about you guys on Black Alert. You got to interview David Ajala, right?
Sweet. We did. I actually missed that day and I was very upset. I was so upset. But yes, we did. And what I heard from the team, that he was absolutely amazing. And hopefully he'll come back and chat with us again. That would be nice.
That would be so cool. Yeah. I think I listened to that one back when it was released. So it was a little while ago, but that was super fun to hear. I've listened to a few interviews with him on some podcasts, and he seems just like such a cool dude.
Yeah. Very down to earth. Very aware of, his surroundings, of what things are going on, but definitely someone you definitely want to kick back and have a few pints with, and chill. So, again, like I said, I hope that he has time. Obviously, he has a very busy schedule. to spend some time with the crew. Hopefully one day we can get Sonequa on.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But we definitely love chatting about Discovery and the mark it's made in Trek in the last couple years. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the new panel at New York Comic Con this year. I kind of second guessed the guest list this year, and but hopefully, we'll have definitely more content for next year and other cons to go to. So hopefully, we'll be able to head out there and go see the cast and crew.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. Should we? So I feel like we've kind of got into it, but should we do our rating system?
Yeah, sure.
You want to dig into that? So, Reina, I believe I sent it to you. That we have a kind of a little rating system that we do with each love story that we talk about, and in sort of I usually keep it in the show notes, so most people listen may be aware of it. But we have like a scale of how we judge the relationship from a red alert, which is pretty toxic, yellow alert, lots of red flags. Fascinating is we're intrigued and like to see more fully functional, solid relationship going well, and then resistance is futile, which is just too hot to handle. So
too
hot to handle. Do you, Nicole, do you want to start? Reina, do you want to start? Anyone want to start?
I would say they're fully functional.
I am fully functional.
All right. Would you say that because we still need to see more then, but you're like feeling really good about where it's at?
Yeah, they're like fascinating / fully functional, because obviously we need to see what season 4 is going to hold. But I think they have worked out some of their kinks. They are definitely a formidable team. They work well together. The fact that he has joined the Discovery crew, he's laying all his cards out, and I think she's reciprocating. So I think it's really nice to see both of them in a good place, and I just hope that I hope there's no drama, but of course there will be drama because it's Star Trek, and Alex Kurtzman loves to like stab me in the heart. Yeah, I would put them in that range.
All right. What about you, Nicole?
I think I fully functional, definitely leaning into resistance is futile. Especially on the second watch, I'm very excited to see more. So I'm like, yeah, you just can't I'm definitely at the point where I'm like, I can't really resist seeing where this relationship is going to go. But yeah, I mean, despite the craziness of their first meet, circumstances, definitely can account for that. So I feel like since then, like it's so healthy. Like I just noticed while we were watching these episodes, the way that they don't get in each other's way, I guess. Like in Sanctuary, she's holding the gun or the phaser at the very end there when he is fighting with his brother in the woods there at kind of the climax of the episode, and she doesn't get too involved. I mean, like once his brother's got a knife to his throat, she's like, all right, you need to stop. Like, I'm not gonna let you kill him. But she also was like, this is something he needs to work out on his own. And she didn't try to like step in and interfere, until there was like space to do so, I guess. And I think the same thing with him when she was kind of getting reacquainted with Discovery. And even though it was kind of rough for her, he understood sort of his place, like just as a support person and not like as like, dictating and telling her what she needs to do or being like, like, do you even trying to pull her back from it too? Like he knew she needed her crew, even when she didn't necessarily know that, or maybe was struggling with it. So I think that that's just so healthy to see in a relationship like that. So I think it's really, and yeah, they're just adorable. Like their little like inside jokes and even just sort of the like, I don't know, the little banter about Grudge every once in a while is Grudge. So funny. And so there's such an enjoyable couple on screen, and yeah, it's all systems go.
Oh, All Systems Go should have been a rating system thing we had.
But then, well, where would you put that?
No, good point. Yeah, I take
Yeah,
it back.
that-
I take
no,
it back.
I mean, we can't have a 6-point scale. That'd
It's
be
too
weird.
much. Too
That's
much.
too much.
I think that I'm in pretty strong agreement with both you two on it. I firmly planted into the fully functional category with the caveat that I believe it'll be Resistance is futile by the end of the series. That's my belief and hope, as long as things continue going as they will, as we see the relationship flourish. But I think, as you guys mentioned earlier, like, this is such a nice, like, a breath of fresh air from her relationship with Ash Tyler. Like, it feels like when Michael Burnham is with Book, it feels like she seems to be the most herself and the most comfortable with, like, who she is. I feel it's almost like when they're together, they kind of help each other be better versions of themselves. Like,
That's what I said, Joe.
It is what you said. Yeah.
I'm teasing you.
I know. But like, like when she's questioning whether or not she wants to be part of Starfleet in the Unification 3 episode too, he's like, whatever you need. And, he's like, are you sure you want to stay here? Because if you so, I will support that. If you don't, I will also support that. Like, he's not trying to push her one way or the other. I'm sure that he has a preferences, but like, there's just such a mutual sense of respect that's really, I think, cool and powerful to see in a story like this. And I feel like a lot of Michael Burnham's relationships throughout Discovery have been defined by kind of like a sense of hierarchy, in the sense like it's her relationships in Starfleet or like through Vulcan discipline and that kind of stuff. So it's really kind of refreshing to see her get to have this relationship and have like these scenes with somebody who is not within those hierarchies. And so I really appreciate it, really like it. And I'm super pumped for where they take both their characters in season 4.
Well said.
Thank you.
That was great. Absolutely. Their relationship, or at least with the Michael Burnham situation, it's this season, or at least Discovery tries to steer away from the trope of the strong female character, by throwing, a man in the mix, or romance in the mix, that she can do both, and still be able to not only complete and do her duties as a Starfleet officer, but also find love and be loved, which is very important. You can find love, but being loved by someone, or actually having someone care for you, is probably the best thing about this particular season, in season 3. There's a lot of it's heavy. Some folks don't seem to like it. They want more exploration and stuff like that, and that's fine. I would too. It's very drama packed, but I do like the heaviness, and the situations that we have to deal with our characters, because they're human, they're beings. Not only are they intellectuals, but they are emotional creatures as well. I mean, you have to gravitate to people that care for you and genuinely show compassion for you and your situations, and won't allow you to fall, or they'll be there to catch you.
Yeah.
And Book does that. He's like, I'm gonna let her figure it out, but I'm here for her, as you mentioned, Nicole. Like, don't worry, I'm here. And then it's that sense of security, and that I think that's what she definitely needed.
Also, their expectations of each other, I think, like, with the salvage yard episode, when Book sends his passive message memo or whatever, and he's kind of like, I didn't really expect you to show up, for me, kind of thing. Like, he's sort of surprised, but like, happily surprised, and sort of like, it wasn't this like, I expected you to come to my rescue, and like vice versa when like Burnham's in trouble. I don't know, and I just feel like there's like unrealistic expectations too. Just sort of like, I expect you to be there now, especially in like a relationship that's forming like that. I don't know. It was just this very like, I want to be there for you. And they both realized that throughout the season as their situations came up. And it was like a decision as opposed to fulfilling an expectation. It's kind of a subtle difference, if that.
Absolutely.
But I feel like it's good.
Yeah, it's fun to see. I think it's, to your point about like exploring relationships and discovery, it's something the show seems to take pretty seriously. And over the past few seasons, the love stories in the show have been marred by quite a bit of drama. And like we had the the
whoever says Star Trek
stuff.
Doesn't have drama,
No,
like
but,
relationship dramas. I mean,
like
excessive
Culber and
drama.
Stamets had to go through a whole shit ton
my
of
God.
like tough situations, and I to the point where I think it was too much sometimes. But like I'm kind of glad that we don't have like just this really intense like negative thing happening to Burnham in book yet, at least yet. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not terrible like that they have to go through. But I do think it's cool to see that the Discovery writers are like interested in really like digging into how the relationships come together and are formed and how they can, build off it. Like I feel like there's a big misstep when they like when Culber quote in quotes died, but I feel like the writers have like kind of come back and recovered and like built his character off of like coming back from the dead in that sense and made it something really interesting. But I'm having this relationship start now. It's kind of fun to see. I'm hoping that they've learned from some of those past mistakes and they're like, well, how can we make this just kind of be a nice, healthy relationship that we can kind of follow, And that's why I'm hoping that I'll say by the end of the series, it's definitely Resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile.
I love how that played beautifully into, because some of the scenes that are not Book and Burnham focused in these episodes are a lot of, I mentioned Anthony Rappa's space dad to Adira and Gray. And because in Sanctuary, Adira is going through Gray not speaking to them at the time and sort of the tension in that relationship. And it just is really wonderfully mirrored, I think, in the way that Stamets kind of reacts to that because he had been through that himself. And so his ability to, because that's deep stuff too, like, kind of like they're like found family to Adira and Culber and Stamets and Gray. And I love seeing that form too, kind of, because that's kind of also going on as well in this season. And having seen rewatched those scenes now, I just feel like, it's very dramatic, but like in a really beautiful way.
Grab your tissues. That's all I say. I mean,
yeah, I know.
I can't take it. Every time they come on the screen, I'm just like, okay, hold it together, Reina. It'll be okay. Like, no more death. Do not kill any more of my characters.
Oh, please.
I can't handle that. Especially, of course, it's a cliffhanger. And I'm just like, are you serious? I have to wait till next week. Are you serious? Like, what is happening? I can't do this.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. It's definitely drama filled / action packed show.
Yeah, agreed. I guess all of that is to say that this will not be the last time that the Deep Space Love podcast plays around in the Discovery relationship sphere.
Oh yeah,
we'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. I suppose we're coming up on the hour mark. We should probably wrap up, huh?
Yeah, I think I've said most of. I think I did have like one little line in the People of Earth episode, right? I think so. I mentioned Giorgio kind of does like the like judgy mom kind of bit, like when Book first comes on board. But Saru also does like the dad though, like when he first when they're first speaking, Saru says, "I don't know if I trust your judgment," like straight to Book, like and it's just this like,
exactly,
Yes. Saru takes a little bit of time to get used to Book. I feel like there's like one, isn't there one? I don't remember. We didn't watch it, but the episode where he's like, Book's like, "Can I help with something?" And Saru's like, just hang out in the background, please.
Yeah, it's such like it's like got to win over.
Like, you're lucky I'm allowing you to be on my ship.
Yeah,
like, cut it out. But yeah, I agree with you both. With Giorgio and Saru are kind of like Michael's adoptive parents, and
second adoptive parents.
And they've, Saru is very protective. And I think he's also an empath in a way. He definitely he's more of the, of course, by the book person, by regulation and protocol, but he also understands and appreciates Michael's view on things, and having this new person in her life, he's like, well, let me make sure he's good enough.
Yeah, it was great to watch the Salvage Yard episode back to back with the Sanctuary episode, because we'd skipped the inner.
Strict unification, yeah.
Yeah, is that the only one that's in between?
I think that's the only one that's in
really?
between the two, yeah.
And so seeing the way that after the Salvage Yard incident, and Saru's like, immense disappointment and feeling kind of betrayed by Michael in a way, by like sort of like again testing his trust and sort of the consequences of that. And then to follow it up, I realized this time around that when it came to Book's planet, like she goes straight to Saru, and then they go straight to the Admiral and explain like what's going on, and Saru backs her up. And he's like, yeah, like I think that this would be like, this is what your Discovery should be doing, and this is how we can help. And so it was really great that even though they had that really big moment at the end of Salvage Yard episode, I keep forgetting the name, Scavengers. Thank you. That like Saru's got her back still, I mean, they had to address kind of the transgression that kind of happened, where she sort of went off without him as her number one, but as his number one, I mean, but I don't know, following up to that, there was still just like, yeah, their relationship is, I love their relationship. It's a really interesting one to dive into and to watch play out on screen, Saru and Michael. So yeah, it was cool to see some of that in this sequence of episodes we watched. For sure. And if we do, we should definitely do in this podcast like some non-romantic relationship someday. Like, that would be a good one. Yeah, love in all its forms. That's what we've said. That's what we say.
Definitely a lot of love there. I agree. He kind of lets her wings spread a little bit, and he knows that she's going to break the rules. She's not going to listen to him sometimes, but sometimes he makes mistakes too. And she tells him, look, this isn't what we should be doing. And he'll think about it, of course, and he'll go, she's right. All right, go ahead. Do what you got to do. But I think that's the respect that they have for one another. And if you don't have respect for, the person that you're on a ship with or serving with, or even, in a relationship with, what's the point? Mm-hmm.
Agreed indeed. Well, Reina, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, yes, thank you.
We loved having you.
Thank you so much.
We haven't had too many guests on this, but it was a blast to chat with you.
Oh, it was a pleasure, and thank you again for inviting me. And I look forward to more discussions about love in all of its forms with you guys. Whenever our schedules collide again. Yeah. And definitely, audience, please listen to Joe and Nicole on Deep Space Love, and tune into Black Alert Podcast.
Yes.
For sure. Yes. As I said earlier, highly recommended, super fun podcast. And we will absolutely have to have you back on sometime, Reina.
Thank you so much again.
All right, everyone. We're pretty random with the release of our episode, so I can't tell you what's coming next and exactly when, but there will be another episode.
It's usually monthly.
Yeah, usually monthly. But thanks for tuning in today, and watch the socials at DS Love Pod on Twitter. This is our primary one, for what's coming next. And until next time, love long and prosper.